Hello, my name is Clinton Walker and welcome to another episode of my cybersecurity and M&A series. And in this week's episode, I'll be covering all things integration and transition hygiene. Now, what happens when two tech stack collides? Right? There are bound to be some mismatch, misfits, and all sorts of crazy things happening at that level. Now, I'm here to help you to identify what those potential challenges are, offer you some tips and advice on how to address these in a planned, methodical manner. Now, why is this important? Whenever you're buying a business, there's bound to be crossovers in terms of licensing assets, physical assets, and software assets. And it's important to make sure that you assess, risk manage, and have a smooth transition from handover from the seller and now integration into your ecosystem. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because it could pose a lot of risk as well. You could inherit old legacy system that is riddled with vulnerabilities. Now, a typical example here for a particular company that was breached during the transition process after they've completed the deal is called Gentex. This is Gentex. They were hit by a ransomware, which they later discovered that during integration, there were a lot of missing patches that were not applied and their security controls were lax. Now, that is something that is typical when you're doing transition, when they do not manage their software and their updates properly, as well as lack of detailed due diligence in the deal process. Now, here are some tips that you can take to start making sure that you have visibility from the outset to manage those risks or manage them in a way that is collaborative before you get through the transition and before you get through to closure. Make sure that you have an inventory of all IT and other physical information related assets. Make sure you have an inventory of all the software assets, their license status, their patch level, and their security status. Assess and document the security profile of those devices, those software, to make sure that, again, their patches are up to date, they're well managed, their licenses are up to date as well, because that's another gotcha that you will eventually come across when you buy another business, because licensing can be there that you inevitably pay for that you don't really need, where you can save some money, or there's duplication. Isolate high dependency systems. So that could be